So basically, Donna Lee is with us tonight. KillTony Bucket Poll, 2 episodes, episodes 722 and 738. Funniest mom finalist back in the day, back in 2006. She's also in podcasting, a host. She's a producer. She's also been an author too, folks. Donna Lee is here. We are so excited. We can't hide it, just like the Pointer Sisters sang years ago. We have one of the greatest comedians right now on the scene, as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of people really like what Donna Lee's bringing to the table. And Donna Lee is mostly, if not almost completely, a clean. She works clean, which isn't easy to do, folks. Now, Donna, how did you come up with the clean work? Is that just your style?
It came from having a child. My dream was to be a stand-up comedian since I was a little girl, but I knew my ex-husband, I knew he's very conservative and he was very embarrassed that I wanted to be a comedian. And I knew that my son was probably going to be a lot like his dad. And so I never wanted to embarrass my son. And so my intent on being a clean comedian was to make sure that my son Sterling would never find anything on the internet that embarrasses him. So that was kind of the goal.
Oh, that's some great morals there. That's some great morals, and that's great for all the listeners to be listening in and get an idea of, parenting and taking care of your family. That's really a big thumbs up right there, Donna. Donna, it looks like, talking a little more about what you're doing now on the scene. Looks like you're going to be in a lot of different states coming up in the next few months. You got quite a bit out there in Texas and Louisiana, Florida, Las Vegas, Nevada, a Jimmy Kimmel show. And, wow, that's no joke, so to speak. No pun intended. So, Donna, we're really happy to have you. We have a few questions for you. We want to, bring it to the table, so to speak, tonight here on Wrestling with Comedy. And just real quick, if you haven't subscribed yet, if you don't mind subscribing, we appreciate it. And also hit the like button. Donna Lee is here tonight. Donna, are you originally born in Texas?
I was born in Thailand. My dad was in the service, and then we moved to Texas when I was about 7 years old. So I claim it as my home state, for sure.
Oh, okay, that's right. So you live most of your life, if not, pretty much your whole life in Texas. God bless Texas. I was out there. Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Donna? I was out there in last 2025, late April into early May, out in Texas. Met some great people and got a shot at the Mothership show on May 5th. Was lucky enough to be one of the 16 to get pulled on one of the Open Mic Monday shows out there. What a rush. The Mothership in Texas is nothing like it out there. You're in the great state, and you're making a lot of strides out in that state. Do you have a favorite venue that you've performed at?
Well, of course, the Comedy Mothership is one of my favorites, having done KillTony twice there. I love all the clubs here. Cap City Comedy is where I started doing comedy back in 2006 that we talked about a little bit ago. When I started comedy, I started doing open mics at Cap City Comedy in the old location in Austin. And if you know, you know. But all the clubs are fantastic here. And we have a different culture here. A lot of other cities are very competitive, and you can't do comedy at this club if you're at that club. And, I've heard my friends who are headlining in different cities saying, well, I can't work that club over there because I'm already working this club. In Austin, we're super fortunate that if you do the Mothership or, Sunset Strip or Creek in the Cave, they're all owned by friends of each other. So like Red Band's, he owns part of Sunset. And then, of course, Joe Rogan owns Mothership. And all these guys are friends. So the culture is really engaging and super inviting for comedians, in my opinion. And I think I can't tell you I have one specific favorite because I like to go to all of them.
Well, that's a great answer. Wow, that's a good answer, because and it's an honest answer. This is Donna Lee here, folks. If you're just joining us, Donna Lee, stand-up comedian. She's been an author. She's a host, too, a podcast host, producer, and she is involved in quite a bit, including this comedy that I wanted to ask you about, Donna, is this Moms Unhinged. What is this all about?
Moms Unhinged is a national touring group, and I'm one of 2 Texas comedians. The other Texas comedian is Megan King, and she and I are also partners in our tour called Not Our First Rodeo Stand-Up Comedy Tour. But Moms Unhinged is basically there's probably, 50 of us on the roster, And we go to venues between 200 and 600 seats. So usually bigger than comedy clubs. And a lot of times we sell out the show. And it's
Wow.
because there's such a need for mom-centric, mom-focused comedy out there. And our shows are pretty clean. They follow the dry bar standards. So we can say maybe one or two curse words, but we try to keep it as clean as possible. And
That's
it's a lot of
beautiful.
fun. Yeah, we usually get a standing ovation. Like it's 98% moms and women in the audience, and it's just one of the best experiences I've ever had in stand-up
That,
comedy.
that's so great. And I just want you to know, I really appreciate you taking the time tonight,
Of
being on
course.
the podcast with us, Donna. And that's the thing, being a comedian, we're both comedians in different parts of the country, but we have a lot in common. And I get it, and I just really appreciate someone that works so hard. And you are absolutely hilarious. I'm watching some of your clips, and one of them that I really enjoyed was about being middle aged, and then the 95-year-old person asking about what would their parents think of. That's just hilarious stuff. Donna, I have something here that we have on the podcast. It's called Deal in the Names. I have 5 names that I want to throw at you, and I'd like you to give me one word association or one statement with each of the names. How's that
Okay,
sound?
perfect.
All right, the first name is someone who's actually a personal friend of mine. He lives in Texas. He's a golden ticket winner of the KillTony show, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of KillTony, and that's I first originally seen you on episode 722. I said, wow. I said, what a great comedian, a beautiful lady, all at the same time. And then you were back on 738. So I'll just let you know, a lot of people really appreciate all the humor that you're bringing to the comedy scene. And that first name is a good friend of mine. He's out of Texas. Funny Charlie Mack.
Oh, it's the sweetest. I love Charlie Mack. One word would be,
One word or one statement, Donna, on Funny
okay,
Charlie Mack.
I'll give you a statement. Charlie Mack is so sweet and gracious and hilarious, and we had done shows together before. He and I both ended up on Kill Tony at different times, but Charlie Mack is hardworking and adorable. He's just a lovely human altogether.
He sure is. And Donna, just so you know, since you're already breaking the rules, that there are no rules, so you don't have to just stay on one
One
statement.
word.
I know it's tough. I got 4 more names for you. I love it. I
Okay.
love this. This is great. We're here. We're with Donna Lee, right out of Texas. Kill Tony Bucket Pull. That's right. She's touring all around the country right now. You got to remember too. Back in the day, she was the funniest mom finalist. She's an inspiration to all. She took 12 years off. She came back in May of 2024, and she is on fire, folks. And she's here on Wrestling with Comedy with your host. Yeah, that'd be me, the real deal, Joel Davis. Don, so I had to throw a plug in there real quick.
No problem.
Thank you. Name number 2, Richard Pryor.
Oh gosh, the goat, right? I remember thinking when I was young, a lot younger, when I would watch him for the first time, it was the first time I'd ever seen a male comedian cuss that much, and I was just not understanding all of the topics, but just out. And I remember my dad watching him a lot too. Fantastic.
Yes. He definitely, Richard Pryor is definitely, we'd say the GOAT. The next name on the list is Ralphie May.
Oh gosh, I remember Ralphie May. What a
Big
terrible
heavy
loss.
set comedian. He was hilarious.
So funny. A doctor that I used to work with at a clinic, his sister, I think, dated Ralphie May or something. But yeah, fantastic. The world misses him. He was hilarious.
He was. This is called Dealing the Names with Donna Lee. You're hearing it here, folks, for the first time. Donna Lee's given her expertise and her opinion on these 5 great stand-up comedians on the scene or had been on the scene. So we had Charlie Mack, Funny Charlie Mack, Richard Pryor, and we also had Ralphie May. The next name is Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh, I love Tony. He's so polarizing. He's so funny. I've seen him several times at Comedy Mothership, and he was nothing but so kind and professional and engaging and uplifting to me when I was on the show twice. When people kind of grimace like, "Oh, kill Tony," they're this or that. I always stand up for what I experienced with him. Tony Hinchcliffe and Red Band were absolutely positively so cool to me and professional and kind, and I will forever be grateful to both of them.
Well, that's great, and that's good to hear. And people need to hear this, Donna, because there's always going to be haters out there. We got to remember that. And you're talking to somebody. When I'm saying somebody, I mean Donna Lee, stand-up comedian out of Texas, that has actually experienced, working with Tony Hinchcliffe firsthand, and she's telling you how it is. And that's great to know. We got one more name for you on Dealing the Names. And this goes back a ways, and you've known every name so far. How about this one? John Candy.
Oh my gosh, that's a throwback, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't remember his stand-up, but I remember his movies. And what a delightful character he always played. So I imagine he was an incredible person to be around. But yeah, he was so entertaining, and the world also misses him for sure.
Right on, Donna. This is Donna Lee, folks. If you join us, we got the chat just keeps on building up. We got a lot of likes and loves. Hit that like button because you get Donna Lee here. This is an exclusive podcast interview with her. She's on the road tomorrow night. Yeah, that's right, Donna. Tomorrow night. Where are you going to be tomorrow night on March 19th?
Tomorrow I'll be in McKinney. The tour I mentioned, it's called Not Our First Rodeo Tour with Megan King. She and I co-headline a whole bunch of shows together. So we're going to be together in McKinney, Texas, which is kind of up near Dallas.
McKinney, Texas, tomorrow night. That's just starts it up because you're everywhere. I saw the schedule, and what's really likable about you, Donna, is you're such a modest individual, and you really can see the love you have for comedy, and that's really part of why I enjoy your comedy, and I definitely was really looking forward to having you as one of our first guests on the podcast because you give out a real good energy, and I just want you to know that, and I just say it how it is. That's the way I keep it real.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on your podcast. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Donna. Donna, when you were growing up, now this is just some research I had done. You grew up with a Irish dad and an Asian mom. I hope I'm not saying that incorrectly.
Correct. Yeah, my mom, part of my opening chat with the audience is that my mom is Thai and my dad's Irish, so I'm Thyrish.
That's right. That's right.
It's silly and kind of hacky, but the audience always starts laughing or clapping and kind of breaks the ice at the beginning.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of female comedians, so when I come out, sometimes I see the faces like, wait a minute, that's a lady.
Well, there you go. So there you go. I'm glad you brought that up because, all the listeners tonight, and I'm sure we're going to have hundreds and hundreds, possibly thousands of replays on this podcast. And, anyone that does catch the replay or watching us live now, again, if you have any questions, we're watching the chat. Donna will be with us for a few more minutes, so get those questions in if you'd like to ask Donna Lee any questions directly. You got to remember, Donna Lee coming in as a comedian and being so popular in a way, and to use the term lightly, an underdog, again, a female comedian and a clean working comedian, which both is difficult.
Mom.
And a middle-aged mom. Well, I talked to another woman that was a comedian, and she was the mid-crisis Barbie doll. I don't know what that means, but
I can relate to the mid-crisis part.
Mid-crisis Barbie doll out here in the Northeast. That's what she uses as her slogan. So I'm going to have a crazy question for you. You're a stand-up comedian, so you're outgoing, so I'm sure you're good with this. But this is going to be great for everyone to view. And anybody live right now, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. Donna Lee does a great, great, great impression of her mom. I've heard it several times. I even heard it on the KillTony show on episodes that she was on the show with KillTony at the Mothership, Joe Rogan's Club. And Donna does it right down to the T. You gotta love it. It's hilarious, and it really makes the material a little more authentic and even that much funnier. That's right. It's Donna Lee keeping it real on Wrestling with Comedy. Donna, now, if you could do this in your mom's voice, if you had said to your mom that you were going to be on a podcast, if you said, Mom, I'm going to be on Wrestling with Comedy podcast tonight, what would she say to Donna?
She wouldn't understand what comedy was, but she was a big fan of wrestling. So she would probably say something like, oh, Donna, you on wrestling show with John Cena or Undertaker? Like she would get really excited about that. She was a fan, and she and my son would watch wrestling all the time together. But yeah, she loved it. I always heard all about the wrestling from my mom.
That's great stuff. Yeah, that's great stuff. So your material. Tell the listening audience what most of your material is basically based on. What really drives you, Donna?
Most of my comedy, all of my comedy is anecdotal, so all family stuff about, a lot of stuff about my mom. And if you're a Joe Coy fan, you'll probably enjoy my comedy. I have a great story about having opened for Joe Coy a long time ago. I opened for him twice, but I didn't know who Joe Coy was, and he didn't know who I was, and I was just his opener in Austin. And he came in, and I was really busy that week, so I didn't research him. And so I went out as the host, and I did my mom stories, and then heavy Asian accent, silly stories about my mom. And I come off the stage and I introduced before I introduced the feature to go out, then I came off the stage. And then Joe Coy came up to me and he said, "Who put you on my show?" And he was not happy. And I was like, I said, "The manager?" Like I didn't know what to say. And he said, My entire set is about my Asian mom, and you just did your entire set about your Asian mom."
Wow, that's a great
I
story.
was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I was so out of sync for the next many shows that we had to do together. And then at the end of the weekend, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, I just, wasn't super cool with you at the beginning." He goes, "But I had to do other comedies. So that wasn't all my mom stuff. So, that was cool. So thank you for that." So now he's selling out auditoriums everywhere. So I want to call him up and go, "You're welcome, Joe Coy." I
Exactly.
pushed you that weekend to do more.
Exactly. Isn't that so great, Donna, to have that experience and that memory?
Yeah, he was super nice too. We had a great weekend. One of my favorite pictures that I have on my website and I posted a lot is he and I arm in arm together. We look like brother and sister because we're both half Asian. But he was so kind, and Leanne Morgan was one of my biggest inspirations to come back to comedy. She and I did several mini shows together, and I saw her recently, and she remembered conversations we had 18 years ago. She remembered my son. She remembered I went through a divorce. Like, she's just one of those incredible human beings that deserves every bit of wonderful things that are happening to her right now.
And what's her name again?
Leanne Morgan, she's
Leanne
got,
Morgan.
yeah, Netflix special. She's got a Netflix show called Leanne. She's the biggest female comic out there right now, for
Oh,
sure. She was at the Oscars, like she's huge right now.
well, that's yeah. So that's why I knew what the name was, but I wanted you to mention it again because she seems to be important to you, and I want
Yeah.
people to hear that name because if you haven't heard that name, you should look it up because we get up. I'm just checking the chats here. Yep, we got a lot of people really enjoying this podcast, Donna. We have a few minutes left, and I'd like to, make sure that you had some time to talk about the future dates that you have coming, in Texas and Louisiana and Florida and Las Vegas, Nevada. You have something coming up with Jimmy Kimball?
Yeah, I'll be featuring for my friend who's a headliner, Kat C. She's headlining Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club July 17th. So she asked me to feature for her again. I featured for her last time there last year. But check my website. It's DonnaLeeComedy.com, and all of my dates and shows are there. And I'm all over the place with my partner, Megan King, and with Moms Unhinged. And I'm producing shows now. So I'm literally all over the place. And I'm absolutely living my dream of just making people laugh as fast as I can and as quick as, in as many spots as I can.
That's DonnaLee.comedy.
DonnaLeeComedy.com.
DonnaLee.comedy.
No,
Dot,
DonnaLeeComedy.com.
well, there you go. That's what, this is like Bud Albert, Lou Costello. Who's on first? No, he's in left field. What? No, that's second base. So you got it. We'll drop a link down there. I'll make sure I copy and paste that link if that's all right with you. We'll put it on there for anyone who wants to check it out. And because you got quite a few followers, and I know your Instagram's doing really well, and you just you're looking down that tunnel I can see, and you're looking in the future. So what's the goals for Donna Lee in the next year or two?
Oh gosh, I just want to keep working. Like I took those 12 years off, a hiatus of 12 years where I did maybe one show a year or a fundraiser, but I took the 12 years off to focus on family and my career and a new marriage. So my goal is just to get up every day and to make people laugh, and the stories that I hear after every single show, somebody or several people come up to me afterwards and they want to tell me why my stories were relatable to them, and that just warms my heart and my soul, and that's all I could ask for.
That's great stuff. Yeah, because, people don't realize, and not everybody realizes, some do, some don't, that, comedians really get a lot of joy out of seeing people laugh and entertain them. And that really, that comes from the gut, soul, and heart, to be able to have that enjoyment. And being, if you're not a comedian, you really don't know really what we're saying probably, but Donna and I know what we're getting at, and you can see that, with what you're doing now, Donna, is you're picking up a lot of speed. And I want everyone to know that's listening to the podcast tonight and that will be listening to the replays of this podcast. Donna Lee, where she is now and the schedule she has, that was not dropped on her lap, folks. She worked hard to get there. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of connections and a lot of effort and time, and she came back with a vision, and she did it, and she's doing it, and it just shows that you can do what you want to do if you put your mind to it. Yes, easier said than done, but Donna Lee is not only talking the talk, she's walking the walk. This is Donna Lee here on Wrestling with Comedy Podcast. We are so blessed and so happy to have you here tonight. Donna, do you have any last words for our listening audience tonight to say goodbye?
No, I just want to, remind people that it's never too late to follow a dream. I know that sounds kind of cliche and maybe silly, but I'm actually doing that. Had you asked me 2 years ago, do you think you'll ever get back into comedy? I would have sheepishly said, gosh, I could only dream about it. And now I am living my dream, and I get to travel everywhere, and I just want to make people laugh. So come see me and just follow me on my socials at Donna Lee Comedy.
Donna Lee Comedy. Come see Donna Lee. We keep seeing that. Come see Donna Lee. That could even be a song, Come see Donna Lee. Come see Donna Lee. See that? I'm not a singer by no means. Donna, just real quick, one question for you before we go. When you were picked for the first time on KillTony on episode 722, how many nights on a Monday night did you go to Shakespeare's, or was it Poor Choices that you put your name in to get a shot at it?
I had gone 4 times. So that
was your 5th time?
That was my 5th time. Yep. And then I hadn't really thought about it all the way through, but that 5th time I really thought about it. I was very intentional, and if you believe in manifesting, I absolutely manifested that experience, and then I manifested it again on episode 738. I knew both times I was going to get pulled.
Wow. That's such a great feeling. And if you don't know how it is, when you're up there in Shakespeare's and there's 250 to 300 people and everybody's getting sauced, and you're watching the replay from the week before on the big screen, and everybody's waiting for that next name to be called, and every name in between seems like it's an hour or two in between each name, and you're just hoping, and you're almost sweating, waiting to be maybe called, get that opportunity, because it's such a great opportunity. And Donna Lee's had the opportunity twice, and she's basically, like I said, taking the ball and running with it. We are so happy to have you here, Donna. We'll leave you with this. I'm gonna throw a statement at you, and I'm gonna have you finish it. Okay, Donna?
Okay.
And this is the way we're gonna say goodnight. Okay, and here it is. In stand-up comedy, I wish everybody
would come see a show that I'm in.
That is. Oh, yeah. Donna, that was great. That was a 5-star answer. That's Donna Lee, stand-up comedian, producer, author. She was a finalist in The Funniest Mom. She has a big, basically, she's all over the place. She's going to be everywhere.